Hello. This presentation is to give you a high-level look at how easy it is to run a payroll in Serenic HCM for Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2013. It's important to remember that Serenic HCM is the only fully integrated payroll and HR solution for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. A more comprehensive look into these features can be scheduled with your Dynamics NAV partner. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go straight into the Role Center for Dynamics NAV, and I am in my Serenic HCM Payroll Administrator Role Center. So from here we're going to go into the Payroll Journal and start processing a payroll. I've already entered some time in with some variables in regards to the department code. There are several different ways of being able to get time into the system. One is you can utilize entry setup, and you can the system can assist you in doing manual data entry. We can import the time through a spreadsheet. We can integrate to an existing time and attendance system, or you can enter the time via Serenic HCM time entry and review. And that's done via a SharePoint client or a web client. So once the entries are made within the system, it's a simple matter of going and saying calculate and then OK. And the system's going to go and take all of the payroll controls for the employees, and it's going to do all of the calculations required. So a payroll control is simply any type of earning, benefit, hour, deduction, accrual, anything and everything that you need to calculate or keep track of during the payroll process. And you can see that it's gone through each and every of these employees to pick out the employee-specific selections and to be able to calculate the payroll. Now that the payroll is being calculated, what we need to do is review the payroll. There's a couple of different ways of reviewing payroll. So if you want to review the payroll on an employee-specific basis, let's say it's a brand new employee or a terminated employee, we can go to Navigate and then to Card View. And what the Card View will do is it'll enable you to be able to view the employee card and filter it by the different types of payroll controls. So earning type payroll controls, benefit type payroll controls, pre-tax taxes, all of those different items can come up, and so for you to be able to view these items separately. Okay. We also have the ability of being able to go into actions and being able to go to preview check stub. And what this does is allows you to be able to see each employee's specific earnings and deductions on a gross to net pay type of format. So once again, nice and easy to be able to look at and to be able to review. The other way of being able to review is to be able to do what I call exception review. So I'm going to change this to pay control code, and I'm going to do a filter on the net pay. So a lot of organizations will do a net pay over or a net pay under in order to see how much the net pays are. I can review 401ks. I can review any kind of information on a regular basis in order to ensure that those things have been verified. And once again, remember, I can click on my nav icon and I can go to print and send everything to Microsoft Excel, where it's going to be showing up in a very nice detailed format with all the columns coming in, and I can able to filter and do any kind of reporting in that area as well. So let's say you've done your filtering and you've done your review, and there are some changes to be made. I'm going to say that I'm going to change, and that's overtime, to 2 hours. Rather than recalculating everyone, I can do a calculate single employee, and with that is that single employee gets calculated, the earnings gets changed, everything happens, the review is done, I go on to the next employee. I never have to recalculate everyone again. I can just simply calculate everyone one at a time. So now that I've reviewed all of my information, I can go ahead and print checks and or print direct deposits. So by clicking on the print checks item, what happens is I have the ability of saying whether I want remittance advices only, in which case if these are direct deposits, I can print them on blank paper and say remittance advices only, or I can go ahead and select the bank account in which my checks are coming from. It's going to automatically put in the check number, and there's some information that I can include on the pay stub if I want to. So I'm going to include them now to show you what that looks like. So let's go ahead and do a print. And so when I'm printing this, I'm actually just going to, I'm going to print it to a PDF file. and that's going to complete all of my document numbers and give me a PDF report of my pay stub, of my paychecks. So the PDF file is going to come up right away, and I'm just going to go ahead and say save it to that area, and I'm going to replace it. And now this is a preview of the check stub. So I'm just going to expand on this to give you 100% zoom. So the tax authority information and other authority information, this is information that I chose to print. Those are the two buttons that I clicked off on, as well as giving me all of my gross to net pays, all of my other information as far as my balances. Each company can determine exactly on a pay control by pay control basis what gets printed on this check stub and what information. So whether it's going to be the balance plus the year to date, or balance plus the current, whatever the case may be, each organization decides what this pay stub is going to look like for each employee. Okay, so now that my checks have been printed and our direct deposits have been printed, even at this point in time, if someone runs in and says, oops, I have a mistake, or I need something changed, I can go in and I can void a single check, or I can go in and void all checks. If I'm voiding a single check, I void that single check, I made that change, I recalculate that single employee, I reprint that pay stub or pay check, and then I'm done. Same thing with the direct deposits. It's a little bit differently because direct deposits, what we do is we create an export file in the correct format to be sent to the bank. If that export file has already been created, then we can, but not yet transmitted, then we can still go ahead and void that entry or void the direct deposit and redo everything and then recreate that export file for transmittal. So one of the nice things about having a completely in-house payroll system is that you have the ability of being able to do this right up until the end of the pay period. So you don't have to worry about exception pays or extra pays or paying people out of accounts payable. All of those things can be looked after directly within the payroll run. So now that we've gotten everything done, I'm just going to go ahead and do a post. And I'm going to post all of my journal lines. So what's going to happen is it's affecting various areas within Dynamics NAV. It's all of your general ledgers are going to be posted to, your bank ledgers, your payroll registers, your absent tracking within your employee card. All of those areas are going to be posted within payroll. And as you can see, when I post that, it clears everything out, and now everything's posted. One of the things I'd like to just go into a little bit more detail is these batches. So we can have multiple payroll batches set up so that you can run multiple payrolls at the same time. So if you do have more than one person running payroll, or even if you just have one person running payroll, if someone comes in for an advance check or an emergency check, you simply open up a new batch, create that emergency check or that advance check, and then you don't have to worry about your regular payroll being disrupted because that will be on a completely separate batch. So I'm just going to close this down right now. And so one of the areas that have been affected are the payroll registers. If I go down to my payroll register, I can see that this was a payroll that I just posted. And I can go into my navigate button and I can either go into my payroll ledger, in which case it has saved everything in 100% detailed exactly the way that the last calculation left it, with all of that information being shown. So we now have a history register exactly the same way as when we were calculating the payroll in as much detail as that. So we can go ahead and do any kind of detailed reporting and analysis that we require. So the other way of being able to see this is to be able to go in and do the payroll check ledger. So by going into the payroll check ledger, shows me all of the checks that were printed and or direct deposits that were printed during that check run, and enables me to reprint them at this point in time. So here's exactly the same check that was printed that you saw before. And the reprint check stubs are also on each employee's card, as well as the payroll check. The payroll ledger is on each employee's card as well, except it's filtered to that existing employee. So I hope you liked what you've seen today. This is once again a high-level overview. If you would like to get a little bit more detailed information about the payroll process for Dynamics NAV, by all means you can set something up with your Dynamics NAV partner. Thank you so much.